Good morning, everyone. 9 o'clock is too early in Vegas. Good morning. All right, thank you. So, digital transformation. It can be one of those words that can either evoke a very interesting conversation or something that is just an overused buzzword. It all depends on who talks about it, where they're talking about it, and in what context. Let me introduce myself. Pavan Pidugu, Chief Technology Officer for Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which regulates and manages all of the motor coach transportation and the division within the larger DOT. Our goal and our purpose of the agency is to reduce fatalities, reduce crashes, so everybody can drive around safely and reach their destinations and transport the goods and other things within the US. So prior to this role, I have led digital transformation in large retail organizations. I spent over a decade in Walmart, Target, and been a consultant for leading transformations, such transformations in large retail organizations across the US and outside of the US. One thing that was very common was a transformation journey that either can be successful or can be, just a buzzword and people move on, is when they understand the purpose of why they need to transform, and when they don't understand the purpose, it doesn't give you the benefits that you should get out of such journey. So, like any other transformation, digital transformation also is like standing in a crossroads. It gives you multiple paths that you can take and still reach the destination. But regardless of which path one should take, there are four things that are fundamental that leaders should ensure that the transformation is, getting out of. Simplification. Whether you're building digital toolkit for simplifying the processes that happen today, or simplify, what a job takes like 10 hours, how do you simplify to make it 2 hours? Automation. Any such things that, transformation can be taken care by. But don't think of the problem at hand today. Focus on the future. You may be solving one thing today, but you should not be always in this continuous cycle of modernizing technology or putting in new systems for the problems that you continue to evolve. So think about how you are going to build a platform or build a product that is going to solve your problem today, but that can be also easily adaptable and give you in a simple ways to address the problems that you're going to get in the future. And all of these things that we're talking about, whether it is retail, whether it is transportation, whether it is healthcare or finance sector, technology is the core. I think one of the speakers yesterday mentioned about, technology is still being a cost center. Should it be? I don't think so. Technology is a vital part of any business operation and continues to grow the role it plays in the transformation, the new business opportunities that any sector in the industry can get. So technology should and is driving a lot of businesses. So is it still cost center? No. So as leaders, we need to be that change agents to change technology having a seat at the table versus technology, how it is driving the value that it brings and the outcomes that it is adding to the nature of the businesses. And last but not the least, efficiency, right? Again, technology can and will bring a lot of efficiencies, whether it is process related, whether it is cost related. What used to take $10 million to keep the lights on, with digitally transformed, the new tool set that we have, the clouds, all of those things with automation should reduce the cost down. Otherwise, there is no need to transform, right? How can the businesses be more efficient than what they are today? With all these 4 things in mind, I want us to think back. And can anyone remember what happened on January 9th, 2007? Anyone? All right, I guess it's still too early. This happened on 2007 when Steve Jobs introduced a $500 cell phone, when all carriers in the US were handing out phones for free with a 2-year registration. So unlike everybody else, I myself also thought, who would pay for $500? And all the businesses, the Nokias, the Blackberries, and everybody else didn't realize and didn't actually appreciate the change that is going to happen, the transformation that is going to happen, not just for one company, Apple, but the entire cell phone industry, the entire consumers of what you call a communication device. It not only transformed how you talk on the phone, because nothing has changed. You still press 10 digits and the other person picks up the phone and says hello and you have a conversation. In that perspective, nothing has changed. But what really transformed, the meaning of the transformation, is the convergence that actually happened. Some speakers yesterday were talking about, remembering the olden days of where they were traveling with physical maps. We don't need that anymore. We got, back in the day, in 2007, having a digital camera is a luxury. And very few people that are professionals, true professionals, they are the ones that actually had that luxury also. Common man like me couldn't afford, didn't need one digital camera. At least I thought I didn't need one. But now, I was actually watching the group picture that we took yesterday. There were as many number of professional cameras, but there were also as many number of the iPhones and the Googles and Samsungs. So the convergence, I have the definition, scientific definition of the convergence up on the screen, which I don't think I'm even gonna attempt to read it, but we all know what it did, right? You don't need to carry 8 different devices anymore. You just carry one. And that's your phone, that's your camera, that's your, entertainment theater. You can watch movies in the same, you go around in that, all of that. But the important thing that also goes back to the definition of digital transformation, or the need for digital transformation, is why you need. What is the purpose of such transformation an organization has to undertake? Let's do, if anyone can guess, which technology company's purpose is advancement through technology? Is that even a technology company? Grocery? Automobile? All right, let's try one more time. Think different. Yes. Again, the need for transformation is driven by their purpose. We at Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, again, which is a government agency, our purpose is reduce crashes, injuries, and fatalities involving large trucks and buses. So when we are in the regulating area, one would think, why would we need to think about digital transformation? We're in the government. So 18 months ago, when I took on the role as the CTO, the first question that we asked among the leadership is, okay, what does digital transformation mean to you, and why do you need one? And we have formulated the whys to encourage partnerships for safety. Again, goes back to our purpose of our existence as the agency. And how? We want to improve interactions between the regulators and the entities that are being regulated. And that interaction in this day and age can be made it much more simple leveraging technology. And then what? Again, what can vary based on the purpose, right? For us, that interaction, like I said, we're building various platforms to enable the quick collection and processing of data and information between the regulators and regulated entities. It could be the state law enforcement officers, it could be the carriers, it could be the truck drivers, everybody that's involved in moving a large truck or a motor coach from one place to other, and everybody that are traveling alongside, in, and around those things as they move on the highway. So that's our purpose. So when you think of digital transformation, it is very, very little about the actual systems you build. The transformation has to come in one or multiple areas. It could be process, it could be business, it could be domain, most importantly, the culture. But overall, it could be all of them. So I'm going to share a few examples, again, as I'm talking about these things that happened. Just take them as my personal views, and I'm not endorsing any of these businesses on behalf of my agency or the administration. But when you think of process, I'm going to play a quick video to show what I was part of in my previous role at Walmart. So as you're looking, right, the digital transformation brought in a purpose to solve the problem of customers having to wait for a long time after they're done with shopping. There could be 100 ways to solve it. This was the time when Amazon had introduced a cashier-less store. It's a great concept, but would that concept work in the same context for Walmart, which is a large supercenter that's like 2-3 times a football field, compared to a small convenience store that Amazon had that concept? The important thing in identifying how to solve the business, I think Steve Jobs said it really well. The important thing is not to know what to do, but to actually know what not to do. Picking the right technology, picking the right solution to implement the technology is vital. So when we started this journey, again, as you have seen, the cashiers can run around with smaller mobile devices and be able to check out the customers as they go. But more importantly, we have evolved that product and that technology into a customer's mobile device. As a customer, you can scan product and pay on your phone and walk out. I think there was a commercial from Sam's Club in the Super Bowl this year highlighting that technology. Check out, scan and go on the customer devices. So understand the purpose, understand the problem before going down the path of that transformation journey. Then think about the business transformation, right? How the business can evolve from what it is to what it should be. Netflix is a great example, right? Started off as a company that's renting out DVDs to a digital video playing platform to what it is today is its own production house. So technology can help elevate the new business opportunities and give you more ideas in terms of how as a business you can transition from one to other. And then take Tesla as an example. Another great story to talk about, right? All of these things that I'm talking, I think every business school that you go to, they talk about these brands all the time. But what Tesla was able to do is go into an industry that's been dominated in a traditional way and come in and change the entire car manufacturing process, change the entire car sales experience process for the customers and maintenance process. Everything is done through digital. So again, it's like I was saying earlier, the important thing to know is what is the purpose, why you're having to go through such transformation journey, and digital is just an enforcer to get there at a rapid pace. And then the last one I'm also going to talk about, which is most critical, is the culture transformation. When you think of culture, it involves humans. We had very great session yesterday. The panel talked about having humans and involved in technology, how that's all going to play out. And it's hard, right? We all resist change. We all, even though we know change is a must, we all try to minimize the impact of change that's going to have us. The resistance is the first step to a successful change. But as you want to transform the mindset, the digital transformation starts at top, starts at bottom, starts in every corner of the organization. Digital transformation is not building an ERP application or going to cloud or going to I have an AI platform, I do data migration or something like that. So digital transformation is how do you change the way people think and operate? And in the process, you get to have the luxury of streamlining, automating, and reducing the inefficiencies. So we at Motor Carrier Safety Administration took that path in the last 1 year, trying to transform some of the things and provide better toolkit to the law enforcement officers. And we started with getting obsessed with the customers. And in the process, we really understood what the problem is. Right? I think one of the panel members yesterday spoke about, focus on the problem, identify. If you don't solve the problem, there is no customers to, enjoy it. But at the same time, I totally agree with that comment with slight difference is get obsessed with the problem, but make sure that the customer is close to you because that journey of changing over is not going to be over time. And unfortunately, we don't have that Staples switch that you press and everything magically changes overnight. So during that journey, the customer should know that you are bringing the positive change. Otherwise, you lost them the day one, like the speaker said. So what we did, I'm going to play a quick video to show what we have done to stay close to the customer and understanding the problem, and we involve the customers as part of the transformation journey. Let's see.
As a mission and number one priority for me and my staff to deliver a modernized inspection platform that will be a one-stop shop to do inspections with ease, promoting more efficiency, and simple to use modern technology. Sitting in a small truck roadside and having to go through this many number of different things for doing a simple driver's license lookup or checking the status of a carrier, it was sad. I literally felt ashamed that that's the state of technology given the day in, day out, like the world we live in. You know, the Netflixes, the banking apps that we have, the Facebooks, the Googles, and all of those things. If we can have all of that modern technology at our fingertips in our day-to-day life, why can't we have the similar toolkit in our work life as well? The frustration of all the inspectors across our federal employees as well as the state partners are for the right reasons. The systems are antiquated, the systems are not easy or user-friendly to use, and the data, you may get the same result if you're lucky. So how do we streamline all of this and provide a simple to use one-stop shop to ensure these software solutions that we are using are exceeding the expectations of the other tools that we use in our personal life on a daily basis? We partnered with the states to ensure we understood the problem, we understood all of the base needs each state might have. We've gathered feedback, we've gathered the inputs of this is the approach we're taking, and through that collaboration, we'll continue to make a better product. As a technology team, if we don't understand what the user needs are, then it could be the coolest product in my mind, but will be useless for the actual users. We live in the day and age where technology should be bringing efficiency rather than slowing you down. Now that you have seen the dedication, collaboration, and the hard work of not only FMCSA people, but everybody that was involved in developing a brand new inspection platform, I'm very proud to introduce SafeSpect, the brand new inspection platform from FMCSA that will allow the inspectors to be able to do all inspection-related activities in a one-stop shop.
Again, culture transformation. Us as an agency had very, very historic reputation of, like any other government agency, take long time for technology changes, or the tech that we have or the systems that we have are not user-friendly, whatnot. We could have just rewrote that existing application. Again, digital transformation does not and should not be rewriting applications from what once was written in a COBOL or VB, Delphi into a modern Node.js, Angular, or put AI in it, put data in it, and machine learning in it, and call it like we have transformed. That does not achieve the purpose and does not give you the right outcomes that you would expect, right? You have to start thinking that digital, right? Look at all of your business processes and look at all of your capabilities that the users need to do their jobs well, and how do you provide tools that does it in maybe 10% less work that used to be required, or better yet, requiring only 10% of the effort than what it used to take. That is what is digital transformation that we as leaders should be focused on, and getting you that purpose. Again, when we think of digital transformation, right, what do you expect out of it? understand the purpose first, but at the same time, how do you make sure that your journey has given you what you should get through the journey? Improved efficiencies, have KPIs. Know what is important for the business. Know what areas you try to make it better through this digital transformation. And how do you measure the success? How do you ensure that there is increased transparency between the parties that are in the process of that journey? Revenue growth, cost savings. Again, for everybody that's in private sector, what is the bottom line to the P&L? Either you need to get more sales or you need to reduce the cost. Otherwise, you've spent so much money and achieved nothing. But digital transformation should also give you more data-driven insights to take certain decisions, like with all the examples that we've seen, whether it is with Walmart, Netflix, or the other things we talked about. What data is gathered that can help the leaders to be able to make more informed and better decisions? And then overall, customer is always the one person that will decide whether any company should exist tomorrow or not. Whether we all agree, or not, customer may know everything or may not know anything, but that customer is the only reason the businesses will exist beyond today. So ensure that the customer is given a better experience out of the digital transformation. That said, I think I have a few minutes for questions, if anyone has questions.
Working. From all the 4 transformations you mentioned, I think the last one, culture, seems wherever you look the hardest to do. I'm curious, what are the kind of challenges that you've faced in the process, people essentially, and how they were solved?
So first and foremost, it is always about how the vision is communicated to the people, right? You get resistance for various number of reasons from everybody and anybody that is involved. So if we actually look back, right, like even technology companies have started saying vocally that they are digital companies. Microsoft as an example, I think only recently after Satya became the CEO, his first act was, we are going to transform into a digital company. Can you actually imagine or think that Microsoft, which is a technology company, saying out loud that we will now transform into a digital company? Doesn't make sense. They've been in the software businesses. That's why I'm saying, digital transformation doesn't mean building software products. Digital transformation means beyond that. So communicating that vision to help people realize what is in it for them. Like, how are they positively going to benefit from that digital transformation journey was vital. In my experience, leading such transformations, both in Walmart and in the government space, that was key. People were afraid of, when you automate all these things, what will happen to their job? Are they going to lose their job? So those were the initial reactions that you would get and you would have to address to ensure that there is less resistance to change. And the second important thing in transformation is, again, when you start and the ground is at zero, there are a lot of assumptions we as leaders make. Along the way, how quickly can you learn and pivot to ensure that end goal is reached within the same set timelines and set goals that you wanted to accomplish? In order to get there, it's very important to be able to adapt quickly and pivot quickly, because what you set on day one is not going to be the same thing when you actually get there, because some of those assumptions will be wrong.
Thank you.
All right?
Hello.
Okay.
Okay.
I think there's a question here.
Hello. Okay. You mentioned that. You want to go ahead? You mentioned that, like, obsessed with the problem, right? Like, to fix the problem, just obsessed. Like, the customer should know, like, the positive change is coming. Like, can you put some light on that? Like, I'm not sure what do you mean by the customer should know. Like, if you are struggling with the problem and it be week and week, how you can, like, make that customer happy? Like, what exactly you are going to say to customer? Like, how he or she knows, okay, the positive change is coming. It's really hard. Customer is, and for the customer, like, what I know is out of document is out of scope, like, So can you put some light? What do you mean, like, customer should know, like, the positive change is coming? What exactly you should tell the customer, or so he can wait for a long time even if needed?
So first of all, don't make the customers wait for a long time. Because, again, we live in that day and age where if you're not going to solve my problem, I can go someplace else. So don't make your customers wait for a long time. What I meant by, keeping your customers engaged is, one, create, as part of this digital transformation, create a mindset, create, a playbook where you're constantly reaching out to customers with new features, new capabilities. Think of, if you're giving a technology product, go with a minimum viable product. Then engage the customers, take feedback, learn from them, improve it. And again, like, you're staying always in contact, right? Like you said, out of sight is out of mind. Don't be out of sight. Find ways, depending on what the nature of the business is, you can always find different avenues to keep that communication channel open. Collaborate with your customers. If you are building software products that are used by the industry, stay engaged with the industry. All right?
I know you've only been on the government side for 18 months, but I'd be interested to hear what you think are the biggest barriers to successful digital transformation and creating an agile organization in the federal space.
So my experience has been, private, public, small company, big company. The challenges are very identical and similar. When you talk about migrating to cloud, the same issues or challenges that people brought up when I was in private world are the same topics that we're talking, but the magnitude is different. The scale is different, and sometimes, again, the skill set challenges is what I face mostly also in the public sector, because we haven't changed. So what I tell my team, right, like, our systems, our processes, and our mindset is at least 15, 20 years old. So that's not just with government. I've known and seen private companies that are like that, right? Like, until March of 2020, I've seen, like, private organizations that are like in Fortune 100 that never knew what a VDI is, that never actually had anybody work outside of the HQ building before March of 2020. So when you have such stale back in the mindset, and when you are driving the digital transformation in an agile fashion, what I showed you, we actually delivered that product, which will be used by the law enforcement officers across all 50 states in less than 1 year. When I said that, and when we were going to go down that path, nobody thought we would be able to do it, but we did it, right? Just like how private organizations deliver products in less than a year, we were able to do that even in the government sector. Not just FMCSA, there are like tons of examples that I talk to my peers in other government agencies on a daily basis. The important thing is realizing where you are, where you need to go, and by when. That dictates how fast you need to change, right? So I tell my team that given we are 20 years late, and if we were to accomplish all of our transformation goals in the next 4 years, every year we need to leap 4 to 5 years of change, which is hard, but not impossible, not unachievable. You just have to make sure that you have the right perspective, a right plan, and right buy-in from all the stakeholders. If you don't have the right buy-in, then someone and something along the way will break.
Hi, great presentation. So, as a EVP for Nestle Waters, and I mentioned Nestle because of how dated process, lack of digital culture, how do you build a culture for those late adopters, or let's call them dinosaurs, that don't want to convert and don't see the value, but 80% of your team, your EBITDA, and everything is tracking towards the success of a hybrid model? How do you train culture, bring them up? How do you decompose that dinosaur and bring it to life?
So you have to be creative and find what's in it for them. Every organization, every role within the organization, there is impact when you transform. And hopefully the impact is there on a positive end, and that's what you need to communicate until it sinks in them. When we could do what we did in a federal agency in the short amount of time that we did, I don't actually believe that it cannot be done in any organization. The approaches should be different, could be different, depending on who is involved. But the right thing is get the buy-in at the top at first. Then identify who has most influence in all the other levels of the organization, and try to sell it to those key influencers in the organization and let them do their selling job for you. This is one thing I learned when I was leading Walmart's. We have a lot of businesses outside of the US, around 20 plus different countries, and all different businesses have their priorities, whatnot. So as the technology head for customer journey, day in, day out, I worked with a lot of chief operating officers for like Walmart Japan, Walmart China, Argentina. But some of those countries contribute very little to global Walmart in a scale, right? So their voice or their needs can sometimes be, undermined because with limited resources and money, you can only do so much. And a lot of times you actually focus on the big ROI items. But at the same time, the business in Japan or Argentina, even though their contributions are small to the global scale, you still need them to sustain and continue to fight within the local competition. So when you think of wanting to do something and influence those COOs at a global scale, I can't be best friends with all the 50 of them or all the 30 of them. And I can never get all of them in agreement as well. So the approach I took was identify the key influencers in that group and try to influence the rest of the community through those key influencers. That will get you the buy-in. Again, when you are leading organizations that have hundreds and thousands of people, you can't go and speak with every single individual. So try to find ways where you can. With that, I want to thank Internet 2.0 for the opportunity, and I hope you all have the rest of great conversations.